من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله جزا الله أن محمدا ما وآله صلى الله عليه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم والله غفور رحيم. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Peace and blessing to our beloved Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It's a great ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a great blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we all came together today to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remembering to fulfill His commands that Allah has commanded us to do so. The fact that, throughout the weeks, throughout the months, we might have forgotten to fulfill the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we are so deluded into dunya. We have so much responsibilities and our responsibilities took over the priority to fulfilling the responsibility to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's just the human nature. We get caught up with and distractions of the dunya so much that we forget to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times, praying daily, remembering to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the purpose of our existence in this dunya is to worship Allah and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful with His divine help, divine way to remind us in different ways to remember, don't forget your purpose of being in this dunya is to worship Allah and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fulfilling His commands. At the same time, there's 12 months in a year, and in Islamic calendar also, in the 12 months in a year, Allah remind us in the specific months that you need to fulfill the rights, what Allah wants you to remember, what Allah wants you to do so. An example in month of Ramadan comes in, Allah commanded us to fast, and before fasting He commanded us to get connected with the Quran and read the Quran, get connected to the Quran. Don't lose the connection with the Quran in month of Ramadan. However, then in Dhul Hajj comes in, don't forget to remember Allah as He's being your master. You fulfill His presence, that Allah is there, that you need to remember His oneness. So that way you say, Labbaik, Allahumma Labbaik, that I'm here. Ya Allah, I'm your slave, remembering the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Now when Dhul Hajj goes away, then the month moving forward, another month comes in after Muharram and Safar. There's a month called Rabiul Awwal. Now in this month, Allah also reminds us, don't forget that your Nabi Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is also important in your life. He is a vehicle of your deen and He is a vehicle of your guidance. So He taught us how to fulfill the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So your Nabi Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam plays a big role in your life also. So don't forget that. The whole purpose of understanding today's topic is that the spring of hearts. Where does that come from is this, is that Rabbi means spring in Arabic. And then Rabbi al-Awwal, the first spring. Now the month of this third month of our Islamic calendar, it has many events took place in this month, but we cover major 3 reasons why this month is important. One, we know that our Nabi Rasulullah was born in this month, Rabiul Awwal. We all know that. Some say 12th day specifically, some have different opinions on different dates. But we know for sure that Rasulullah ﷺ was born in this month. Now, another reason why this is so important and significant to us, because our Nabi Rasulullah ﷺ departed from this dunya in this month, 12th Rabiul Awwal. Now, the third also took place main reason is that my Nabi Rasulullah ﷺ with his best friend Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala an migrated from Mecca to Medina. These are the main reasons that we look up in this month, that why these three main reasons are highlighted in this month. Why is that so? That's something that we need to ponder upon. That's something that we need to learn, that we need to acknowledge. And this way you could also find your salvation, a revenue of salvation on the Day of Judgment. So this is one of the reasons. So, the whole concept of, in Islamic, if you have friends that are not non-Muslims, they will ask you, why do you follow lunar calendar? You should be able to answer them. You should be able to educate yourself to answer these questions. What's so important about Rabiul Awwal? And then you say that, there's a concept took place behind this, to putting the Islamic months together. Umar ibn Khattab in his time period, when he was a Khalifa, he was sending a message to other governors. The other governors was asking them question regarding on month. Hey, you were talking about, you mentioned something in the letter about Sha'ban. Which Sha'ban? The last year Sha'ban or this year coming up Sha'ban? So, because of that reason, for confusion, Umar ibn Khattab spoke with, consulted with his friends and companions with him, Umar ibn Osman, Ali radiallahu anhu, and other companions. And then they come with this. They said that, let's start the Islamic calendar with Ramadan. Then they decided to do Dhul Hajj, because after Dhul Hajj month, there's a Muharram will come, because everyone who comes from Dhul Hajj, they come clean. So let's start with the clean slate. That's why Umar ibn Khattab started doing from Muharram. From Muharram, Safar, then they decided to do Rabiul Awwal. Now this month of Ramadan comes, this whole Rabiul Awwal month, you will see and you will find many of us attending many events, many programs. Some of them do many programs of remembering to our Rasulullah's character and in his presence, how his presence were affected us and affected our religion, in our deen. What can we learn from his lessons? What can we learn from his life? What can we implement and impact? We could learn from his life and impact it in our life as well too. That's the whole purpose of this. But however, the importance of this is that our Nabi, our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also makes importance, significance of existence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everybody knew, and they had prediction, and they knew that there was a named man called Muhammad is coming up. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? They all knew that. When he came to the dunya, when he came in this world, then Allah also sent mercy upon us as well too. Now with that mercy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us that, look, I love Rasulullah sallallahu. I'm in love with him. So I decided that entire ummah needs to follow your Nabi Rasulullah sallallahu, because we are from his ummah. We are Muhammadun. We are from the ummah of our Nabi Rasulullah sallallahu. On the Day of Judgment, all the prophets, when they stand, the entire ummah who came after them, they will follow their prophet and they will stand behind them. We will be standing behind our Nabi Rasulullah as being an ummah of Rasulullah. That itself is a ni'mah and a blessings. Okay? Understand the gravity of this. The prophet of Nabi Rasulullah is so beloved to Allah, the Allah who created everything, the Allah who created everything what exists in this dunya and in akhirah. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa hu, Al-Malikul Quddus Salam, right? Allah's greatness that you and I can't even ponder upon. And that's what Allah wants us to do so. So we could thank Allah when we ponder upon His greatness. That's what Allah wants us to do. How many of us throughout the day remember the greatness of Allah? We don't. Because we are so deluded into the dunya, we don't have time to do that. Simple thing. Now here, Allah Himself telling us, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهِ فَاتَّبِعُونِي. If you love Allah, then you need to follow who? Your Nabi Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that's a revenue for you to be pleased in the court of Allah. That's just beautiful. That's just amazing. Ponder upon the gravity of this. The Creator Allah said, telling us that if you want me to love, if you want to please me, then follow His beloved one, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Just follow his steps. Follow his steps. Many of us are so much caught up in these arguments that, hey, can we do this? Can we celebrate Rasulullah's birthday? Well, that's not the topic to discuss. We need to just focus on how Allah presenting His Nabi Rasulullah Sallallahu, the one He loved so much, and how is He telling us that what can you do as being in the ummah of Rasulullah Sallallahu. You know what He said? Inna Allaha wa malaikatuhu yusalluna an-nabi. He said what? Allah Himself sending the salawat to who? Our Nabi Rasulullah Sallallahu. Allah, the one who created everything what exists. Everything. You, me, and everybody. The generations who come after us. Any objects, anything, you just name it. The galaxies of the galaxies. The universes of the universe. You could just think about everything. Whatever ponders your mind out there beyond this dunya. Allah created everything. And Allah Himself saying that I send salutations, salawat to your Nabi. It's just ponder upon this. That's just the next level or beyond our imagination of this, is that Allah Himself sending the salutation, the salawat to our Nabi Rasulullah. Then He commands every single angels that Allah created, they need to send salutation as well too. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. It's just pondering upon this, right? And then Allah says, as I and the angels are sending salutation to our Nabi Rasulullah, the entire ummah, the mankind of Muhammad Sallallahu who follows him, every single one of them needs to do that so as well. We all need to send salutation to Nabi Rasulullah. The question is, how often do we do? Do we need to wait till the month of Rabiul Awwal to come to do getting these gatherings and then going to his programs and then say salawat to Rasulullah? Why are we waiting for that month then? This should be our ongoing daily basis as you pray 5 times a day, as Allah commanded you do so. At the same time, Allah asking us to do what? Send salawat to our Nabi Rasulullah Sallallahu. We fail to do. We fail to fulfill the rights of our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 5 daily prayers, we are struggling to that. Number 1. That's our fard. That's our fard. We can't even skip that fard. Right? That's the main thing. Right? We also struggling to fulfill the rights of our Nabi Rasulullah as well too. Then why? Because we are focusing, our focus is only what? Fulfilling the rights of our spouse, our parents, our children, and the people in the dunya. I'm not saying we don't need to do that. I'm saying prioritizing who comes first to fulfilling the duties of there. Who comes in your list? Who is the first one? Who is the first priority that you need to be focused to fulfilling the rights of it? It should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah himself says what? Fulfill the rights of your Nabi Rasulullah sallallahu by sending salawat, salutation. You know, I tell you one thing. A simple math to comprehend, to better understand the concept. Simple analogy. Analogy to understand is this. What 9 plus 1 means? 10. 8 plus 2, 10. 20 divided by 2, 10. Right? There are many ways to come up with the number 10. You put any equation to it, you could come up with any equation and put number 10. You could do that. What's 10? What is 10? 10, analogy to comprehend, 10 is happiness, financial freedom, finding joy, tranquility, peace, sakina. That's what we define that. Now, what I'm telling you, using the same analogy, our purpose is in akhirah. What can we do to find salvation in akhirah? What do we need to do? There are many revenues, just like to find 10. There are many occasions to get number 10, just like that. There are many occasions to find a revenue to get salvation on the day of judgment. And the best revenue and the best way to attract Allah's mercy upon you in this dunya, the best way to attract Allah's mercy faster and quicker is what? Is to send salutation of Nabi Rasulullah and fulfilling the sunnah of Rasulullah. That's the fastest way, the best way to do it. If you want to attract Allah's attention and Allah's mercy upon you, what do? Fulfilling the sunnah of Rasulullah. What Allah is asking you to do so.